Hello everybody, I am going to do my 1-year review of Dislyte. I'm a bit late to the party, mainly because of Dislyte's anniversary was a time where there was a lot of drama, and I was also very close to quitting, and I just didn't have a lot of good stuff to say, not unlike the entire community, it seemed like. So I didn't really feel like being yet another negative voice at the time, so now that things have calmed down a bit, or have they? Let's get into it. Just so you know that I have actually played this game for a really long time, let's go into the achievements, and they're in the know. You can see 483 days. My god, that's a long time. So yeah, I've been playing this game for quite some time, and I will run the trial in the background for you so that you have something to look at as I'm blabbering away. By all means, do bring a tea or something nice, and let's have a full-on story time. Yeah, why not? Let's just do that. Okay, so I started playing Dislyte right around global release, like a little bit before it. And so now it's been well past a year. I was brought into it because of, well, mainly because my partner was playing it, and I just cannot be left out of something that looks fun. So that's my toxic trait. I have to take part in everything, and I have to be best at everything. Obviously, I'm not best at Dislyte anymore in any sort of way, and never was. So that's, a whole thing. But what really, kept my interest in the game was that it was fair. It was really, really fair. It felt fair. It felt creative. The music was quite good. The colors were nice. The characters weren't overly sexualized, which is something that I absolutely hate. And it was free to play friendly. All the characters that, in this game they're called espers, but every single esper felt like it was viable. No matter the rarity grade, and no matter, the things, and you could do so much fun stuff. Like, you could use the most common character and get really good scores if you were just really creative in the way that you use the different espers' abilities and how you chose to equip stuff. So back then, the game was super fun. It was so nice. The community was stoked. It was, you really had the feeling that this game would be really good, which in parts it still is, but that's beside the point. So what I did was that I started a club, and I eventually got it to top 100 pretty consistently on all the lists. We were, top 34, I think, at some point in Holo. We've been 14th in Sentinel. And I was also part of the PTR, and basically I was pretty involved in this game, right? So then I started a channel, this channel, because I wanted to go into the mythology of the characters that, a lot of it is lost in Dislyte, design-wise, and there's a lot of questionable choices, but either way, I wanted to bring the actual story of each of the gods that the espers were represented by, right? And then came patch 317, and that was shortly after I had started my channel, and it was such a mess. It was an absolute disaster, that patch, and it changed my channel to include guides and basically trying to helping out and problem solve with, how to do things. Especially then, rituals, because that is when Kronos and Apep and Fafnir were changed to the point where our newer members in the club just were not, and rightly so, were not able to get, the basic equipment anymore at all. It was impossible before they fixed it. It was, I don't know what they thought. But that is the first time that I really started questioning Dislyte's decisions, to put it, to be diplomatic about it. And and they didn't communicate. Like, the devs didn't communicate, no one communicated, no one did anything, and it was just absolutely horrendous. The game was pretty much unplayable at that point for a lot of players, and it didn't seem like the developers cared one single bit. So that wasn't great. And then after that came patch 3.2.1, which killed Holo, which was one of the only, at that point, really fun parts about having clubs, because you got a lot of rewards from it. And then suddenly, without any sort of like major communication about it, they just skipped out entirely. And actually, they still, to this day, have not addressed it at all. And I think that's kind of questionable as well. And then came patch 3.3.1, which was probably the biggest absolute nail in the coffin for a lot of people. There was so much drama and controversy. Dislyte still didn't communicate. They didn't deliver on promises like Shadow Mother. There was reskinning. There was all kinds of issues. And on top of that, Dislyte went against its content creators. It was so much drama at that point. That entire patch was just such an absolute disaster. And everyone on the PTR had raised their concerns about the difficulty of certain bosses, and nothing was done with it. And it was just really, really bad. And then came patch 3.3.3, which finally, brought with it the loadout for PvE. But at that point, it just felt way too late. At least, like, for some people, it felt like a little bit too little and definitely way too late. And so now we're at patch 3.3.4, and there's still a lot of problems. There's a lot of content, especially Desolate on hard mode, that is unplayable unless you have specific espers, the most difficult ones to get. And so that's the storyline. Now, for people that are not into Dislyte and who are new to it, that entire storyline would probably have been just not very interesting. But it shows a pattern of how the game went from being really, really, really free-to-play friendly, creative, open, and fun, to just being destroyed patch by patch. And right now we're at a point where the whole free-to-play friendliness has pretty much gone out the window entirely. Now you need to have not just the right espers, but also the right relics. That has kind of like, having the right relics has always been a thing, but now is like on steroids. And you also need to have the right espers. Like, a lot of content you just cannot do unless you have specific characters in the game. And that entire thing started with actually the esper that you see in the middle there. His name is Gaius. He's based off of Zeus, and he's the one who now is just up in there and just went down there. That one. When he came out, he was such a game changer because he was so powerful. But he still didn't feel overpowered to the point where you couldn't do content unless you had him. And then fast forward to today, where if you have espers like Nua, which is a shimmer, or XP, which also is a legendary shimmer, then you can suddenly dominate everything, pretty much. Like, nothing is really hard for you then. You still need to have the right setups and the right relics and stuff like that, but it's an entirely different ballgame. So, basically, if you spend a lot of money on gold records, which are the way that the characters are pulled, then there's a lot of fun that you can have, but also it's going to cost you a lot. So they went from being super free to play to now getting more and more money hungry. There's also a part that is really quite disturbing, and that is the fact that the makers of Dislyte have been releasing other games. Obviously, a lot of, that's quite fine. That's not the disturbing part. But the disturbing part is that they let all of these patches that I already told you about, right? Especially the really bad ones. They were kind of coinciding with when the makers of this game released another game. And it seemed like they were focusing a lot on the other game and just testing out random stuff in this one. So basically not really prioritizing the player base that they already had and just went for something that was money grabby somewhere else, if you catch my drift. And that was a general sentiment for a lot of the player base. And yeah, I don't know. I don't feel too good about it. I feel like the content itself has gone down drastically in quality. The events used to be super fun, and now they're just really depressing storylines. Like, they're super sad. I would not recommend these storylines to anyone that's, young. They're quite triggering, and they are unnecessarily just sad for the sake of being sad. Like, there is not even a good moral to the story. Like, there's nothing good coming out of these stories. It's just like absolute sadness all the time, and death. And for like 5, I think, events, there were like an entire storyline that was just based on tsunami, everyone dying in a tsunami, basically. Like, it was just water and drowning over and over in different versions. And I know that there's people out there that have a lot of fun, or well, feel kind of a sense of relief, I guess, when they can like watch something sad and then they can have a good cry about it, and then they can I don't know, feel better about life. I know that people like that exist. I just cannot relate. Because I play Dislyte to enjoy my time, to relax, to have, fun. Maybe there's a little bit of an element of escapism in there as well. That might be the case, but that is kind of the case with most games, I feel like. And I do not want to feel like traumatized while playing a game. There's so many orphanages that actually exist in the world, and I don't really want to read about an orphanage in, a make-believe situation with supernatural wannabe creatures that are not even, Anyway, moving on. Another thing that is just not worth it with Dislyte is a lot of the character design if you're into mythology. If that is like your ticket into Dislyte, and they are, they have been marketing quite heavily that they're about mythology and music and stuff, the mythology part is just absolute shit. I will be honest with you, I am thoroughly unimpressed with almost all designs when it comes to the mythology part. Actually, let's just hop out of this and I will show you. Mythology was actually one of the main reasons as well as to why I joined this game specifically. So, okay, open up. Okay, so let's go to one of my biggest pet peeves in this entire game. And one of the ones that kind of put me off straight away. I should have just quit then. I don't know why I kept doing this, but apparently I just stick with things even though they're not good. That's what I do. So Anubis was amazing, right? He was one of the main ones and the main like protagonist, I guess. And he's also like on the logo and stuff. Anubis, or Drew, is amazing. Like, you can see a lot of creative flair, but you can definitely see, the origin of this Esper, and he's well done. Like, he's just overall, he's a well done Esper. I like him. He's great. Showed a lot of promise. And this guy, Thor, or Donar, granted, he's a ginger and he has a Russian accent, which doesn't make a lot of sense for a Norse god. But, you know, he's got a huge ass hammer. He's got frost everywhere. He's clearly been, you know, in the Scandinavian forest somewhere and not really been too good with it because he's got frostbite everywhere. But, you know, and he drinks and I can buy that. Because, you know, the Norse gods, they were interesting like that. But then you had people like this, right? This is Midgardsormen. This is the world serpent. And although I am partial to his bow, I will say that, okay? I am very partial to that bow. It's adorable. And the entire snake is adorable. The entire, like, situation here is very cute. But the snake is just a side character to the main character, with it, which is this dude who never can stay awake, right? Like, the Midgard serpent was a humongous snake that went around the entire world, and it's like such an important part of cultures all around the world. You have the Ouroboros one in Australia. I am so sorry if I did butcher that name, and also I think I maybe said the wrong name. But the point is, in Australia they have it, in New Zealand they have a version of it. They have a version of a world serpent in Asian mythology, as far as I remember. And I think in Aztec and Mayan they have Quetzalcoatl, which is a different thing, but still snake. I can't remember anyone else at the top of my head right now, but the idea of a world serpent is very universal, and he deserves something a little bit better than a bow around his neck and be a side character, is what I'm trying to say, you know? But it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's not horrendous. But then, this guy, which is the one character in this game that just absolutely made me start hating everything that Dislyte was making when it came to their character designs. This guy is Fenrir. He can't hold his glasses because that is how clumsy Freddy is. Even the name, okay? Like, all of this is such an insult. Freddy sounds like a cozy little teddy bear, right? And he's clumsy and whatever. But Fenrir was the biggest wolf, the most, like, he started the end of the world, you know? Like, he was powerful as fuck. You did not fuck with Fenrir. Fenrir scared the shit out of the gods to the point where, you know, they did horrendous things to him, and it was a very abusive story that we don't really need to get into. But the point is, Fenrir was very fearsome. This guy is a mockery of that, at best, in my opinion, allegedly, because I said so. And those were, you know, the first generation ones, because that is what I like to call them, first generations, because they were the ones that came, you know, in the beginning of the game. Then you have, obviously, Skadi, which is a god of skiing in the game. Like, she said that she's, you know, a goddess of skiing and stuff, and she snowboards. And she has whatever that ice pick thing is, because, you know, when you snowboard, you definitely have those things. I feel like whoever made her was just like, yes, snow. And then they had never seen snow a day in their life. But, you know, nice effort. And she also drinks. I don't know what it is with all of them being like drinkers. Apparently that's what we do in Scandinavia. And I mean, they're not wrong, but still, like, it's a game for kids, you know? Mimir is one of the ones who kept me in the game because his design is, although, you know, dubious, he is fun. This is pre-beheading and I like it. It's a very fresh take on it, and it's creative, it's nice, and he has, you know, his books and the things and the wisdom, and he looks like a wise guy. And I like that. But then, you know, later on, came whatever creature this is supposed to be. A dog, cat, rat. Don't get me wrong, in the game he's really good, but yeah, like, just so you know, the god situation that is supposed to be represented here is actually whatever he's standing on. Yeah. So, gun, you know, again, terrifying creature, is rendered into side character that isn't even alive, it's a machine. And it's written by this maniac coyote, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, so that also feels a bit off. You have a lot of people that were done really dirty in this game, and what is kind of funny is the fact that all of the Asian ones, like from Asian mythology, are done well. From all other mythologies, especially the Norse ones, they've just, they've just not done a good job with them at all. And it's borderline insulting, in my personal opinion. Yeah, there's a few good ones, but yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of it that is just really, really annoying, and I just expected better. I don't know why I did that, but that is at least what I think about it. What else is bad about the game, apart from the money grabbing and reskinning and things like that? Probably a lot. There's a lot that just feels really dead about the game. There's a lot of really boring content that is being pulled out of someone's hat, and on top of that, there's basically no communication from the teams out to the player base. The communication that is there looks like, well, I mean, they might just be, you know, not very expressive people, but they don't look happy whenever they're doing their little intros for the patches and whatever. Like, they look like someone forced them to be there, and they're like trying to survive the best they can. And their little like death stare, lack of emotion on their faces is kind of what I feel like the game has been for a really, really long time. It's just quite dull. And yeah, not really all that fun anymore. So, to sum it up, if you are new to the game, is it worth playing? Is it worth starting? Or is it worth getting into at this point in time? I'd say if you can get into a good club, and you can get like good friendships going, and you can problem solve together as a team, then yeah, probably just because you're going to be new and there's going to be a lot to do. The problem now is that if you're a new player, you're going to have a really difficult time even catching up or getting the most basic things. You're not going to be able to really enjoy the game in a lot of ways. These are the basic bosses that you have to beat in order to get the equipment that you need. And you're not going to be able to get to, like, maybe you're going to be able to get to 8. And the drop rates for that are just not good. Like, you need to be at 12 to be able to even get a chance of getting some of the better equipment. And let's be honest, you don't really get any of the really good ones until you are at 15. And getting to 15 when you're a new player, that's a really, really, really difficult thing to do at this point in time. I think you would have to invest a lot of money into it, and I think that you would need to like really nerd out and learn everything that there is to learn about the game at this point, about, you know, divinates and all the different espers, and then trying to keep up with like 4 espers that are released every other week. Well, not literally every other week, but like maybe twice a month at this point. And you're never going to be able to do like trials or Dislyte. You can just absolutely forget to be able to do like this stuff. On hard, you're going to struggle. Like, you're going to struggle hard. Keep in mind that I have been playing this for a really long time, really like efficiently and actively, and these are my scores. You know, like the normal one, not a problem, but even getting EX don't stand a chance because I don't have the right esper for it. I haven't even bothered trying Shadow Glow at this point. Like, I haven't tried. So yeah, if you're keen on starting a game that is like super frustrating, but that is pretty and has nice music, and where there's a lot of problem solving that needs to go into it, then the game is absolutely worth it. If you're a whale, there are so many other games that you can play that are much more value for money, I would suspect. I don't know, because I never actually pay money in any of these games, so I don't really know. But I would think that there would be much better games. If you go, let's go, where is the shop? Yeah, this is how little I actually buy stuff. I don't even know where the... Okay. Oh no, wait, it's Plaza. I'm so sorry. But yeah, these two are probably the most value for money. Right in the beginning of the game, when I was really happy with it, I was paying for this one. You get 35 gold records, and you have like more gold per run that you do, and you get a stamina cap that is like expanded, and you get a daily gold record basically, which is really fun in the beginning. Like, drawing a new esper every day is super fun. And so yeah, so I had that one for 1 month in the beginning because the game was free and I was enjoying it a lot, and I felt like that was quite, you know, nice to do. We can go into the prices of this stuff. As you can see, it's quite a lot of dollars. You get 45 gold records. Now, for the record, no pun intended, you will have a guaranteed legendary every 100 spin. Okay? But when you then have bought one of those packages, it's not even guaranteed a legendary. Like, you're halfway there. Do you see how you could then just end up spending probably millions before you're able to get a legendary that is like really worth it, like a shimmer? Yeah. And like, this last one, the fuck is the point of that? That's not value for money one bit. Like, 2 million gold, you can get that much easier in game, which is good. That's a really good thing, but I don't know why they would even put a price on that is that high for something that is just, there is no point. Like, why would you ever want to do that? And 45 wishstones is, you know, they're following the same thing that they did for the gold records, which is it gets you halfway there. But with a wishstone, like, you literally have to then buy 3 because you need 100 wishstones in order to draw the current thing. And that changes every time that they have a new banner, you know? What else do they have? Okay, so these are the so-called top sellers, and then you have limited. Oh my god, okay, that's just absolutely insane that they would have a limit of 90 on the Shimmer records. Like, that's insane. Who the fuck would buy that? So that's like, that system too is really flawed, because you have to have spent 100 Shimmer records in order to get a guaranteed Shimmer legendary, and then you're not even guaranteed to get, you know, something that is actually good. So these are the legendaries, the Shimmer legendaries that you can get in the game. Anna is new as of now. And the one that you really, really need in order to do all content is Schwanpin, the pink-haired girl. And as you can see, the chances of you drawing that one, just to be able to do like all of the content in the game, the chances of you drawing her are non-existent. Like, the chances are so slim that it's stupid. So if you were to spend money into that, my god, you would spend so much. And then to get it fully resonated, so like for every time that you draw an Esper, so for every time that you draw an Esper, you get a resonance on it. So basically it's the same thing as Pokemon, kind of. No, not Pokemon, absolute brain fart. No, like Pokemon Go, basically, right? That you get like Stardust and stuff. But for this one, you just get extra perks. And for a lot of these Espers, you need to have 2 copies for it to be working really well. So the Resonance 2 is where most of these Espers become really quite potent. And then you also have Resonance, Divinate, which is an entirely different system. So if you wanted an absolutely maxed out XP, I do not want to do the math on that, because that would just plummet me into depression. So yeah, guys, that is my take on Dislyte and whether or not it's worth playing in 2023 and probably beyond. I hope this helped you to make an informed decision. And please be careful with your spending in gachas. If you feel like you're addicted, reach out for help. There's helplines and help things in a lot of ways. Just Google it. And yeah, do not get addicted to gambling through games and gachas. That's a dumb way to spend money. So with that said, I hope you enjoy your day. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Give me a like and subscribe. Do the things if you want to, but it's up to you. Have a good time. Bye.